artist is. We're going to make what we think goes in there. And then we're going to hand that back to you, and you're going to go, that doesn't look like my character at all. Well, how would I know that? You didn't tell me what it looked like. Okay? But, you know, you've got references. This is the angle of the head. This is where the fur pattern goes. This is where the rainbow streak in his hair is. That's perfect. Because at that point, you know where to put stuff. So you hand you this lovely 3-view character sheet with your markings in the exact correct place, with the right expression on the face. Well, this kind of, you know, we need to know, is it a happy character? Is it a scowling character? We need to know what look to give it, because the fursuit artists, this is what they're going to look at. This is what they're going to refer to when they're sculpting the head base. All this stuff. You know, that's actually one I handed to White Fox. Came out exactly like that. You know, most fursuit makers can build exactly what those look like. Orzel's head looks exactly like that.
Amazing.
And LB did an excellent job. LB works off my work all the time, and she does a wonderful job. That one happens to be a cub. You know, I had someone who wanted a cub art. And there's a difference, you know, we need to know, is it adult? All this kind of stuff. Is adult cubs are shaped differently than adults are. They're usually squattier and have shorter limbs and kind of chubby, which works really, really well. Any more questions here? Does everybody have a really better idea?
I have a question about claws.
The what?
About claws.
Claws?
What if the wearer has them? I mean,
Honestly, cut them off. It's unless you can get your maker to build you a longer paw, you're gonna have trouble getting it caught in the fibers when you're trying to get the gloves on. It's doable. It's gonna be a pain in the butt for you. My advice would honestly be just go ahead and cut them off. You'll risk actually breaking them off unless you use a strengthener and you've really got them good and hard. I imagine, because I break nails off all the time. And half the time I get them caught on the inside of my fursuit gloves, because it's fabric, you're gonna get them caught in the tips and stuff. I pulled off nails on the inside of my fursuit paws before. You have one little crack, it catches, it yanks. Yeah, ow. Trust me, ow. And you can't do anything about it, because you're Mr. Happy Skunk and you're out here, you know, entertaining people, and somebody rips off one of your fingernails and you're just going, excuse me a minute. Happy, happy, happy until you get to the back room, and then you can start screaming.
Usually obscenities.
Yeah, but you do that outside of
Earshot.
of the public, and where little kids don't hear you and repeat it back to their parents. Heaven forbid kids. Mommy, guess what the skunk said? No. But yeah, designing is fun. It really is, and it's really, really rewarding when you can either do it yourself or you can actually see your character in a representation like that for the first time. You know, this is how it's going to look, and everything starts to fall in place. This is how my fursuit's going to look, and this is going to look really, really good. And then there's the moment when you actually get the suit. Hey, this looks just like the artwork. This is exactly what I wanted. That's the result you want in the end. Not, oh, I wish I'd changed this. The art is going to make it. You get this right, everything else will fall into place after that. So.
That's why I honestly suggest, if you happen to have Second Life and you can find somebody who can build your character on Second Life.
If you're on Second Life, that's really good.
It's actually, yes.
Now, the only probably drawback to that, Second Life, bless their heart, I love Luskwood to death. I know a lot of the guys that run that, the girls that run that. But, again, it's an avatar. It's the same variation of a character with just different color patterns. Mm-hmm. If you want a different facial expression, you need to go ahead and tell your artist that, because otherwise you get what's commonly known in the fandom as a cookie cutter suit. Like what you buy at Maryland's mascots. All their huskies look exactly the same. It's a cookie cutter. You know, they're producing the same product over and over again. Luskwood themselves is actually making fursuits now. You've seen some of the work. Kyovi, who's here with Adam Wan, she actually has a Luskwood, and it is the darn cutest thing I've ever seen. But she gave them plenty of reference. This is what my character looks like. Ultimately, your maker is going to put their own spin on it. They will get it as close as they possibly can, but also take that into effect when you're planning. You know, Latin Vixen suits all have a distinct look. Aren Studios all have a distinct look. Josephers all have a distinct look. You can tell who the maker is by looking at the suit. It's just something you run into, and after a while, all the suits do kind of start looking the same, unless you've got an extremely unique character. Because I think my sweetheart was probably the first pink fursuit anybody had ever done. So she was really unique, and now you see 3 or 4 or 5 of them running around, and well, that's fine. When you come up with a unique idea, I'll tell you right now, you're going to get copies. The first time you put that out, you're going to have copycatters. They're going to look at it and say, hey, that's a cool idea, I'm going to use it. Don't get offended by it. Honestly, a lot of the time it's the most sincere form of flattery, is imitation. So consider it a really big compliment that they liked your stuff enough that, hey, I want to actually use this. No point in having any more drama. This fandom's got enough of it as it is.
Yeah. Actually, my suit's going to be part of an actual series because I actually have a twin sister.
I was going to say, have you got multiple characters in the same?
Well, no. Someone else is has the suit of my twin sister.
Okay.
He couldn't be here. He couldn't
Right.
be here, but he's at OverCon.
Spree here. Spree is actually the older brother to my sweetheart. We have the Candy Sky skill as one of them. We're all based on candies. Again, this is part of a series, and if that's what you're intending, fantastic.
But yeah, they're all going to look similar because, well, they're all related.
Look at the aspartame bunnies, as they're being called now. That White Fox has made. There's Sweet and Low Splenda and Equal. Is that what it is? But they're 3 bunnies with 3 different colors, but they're based on those particular sweeteners. So, it's kind of fun to actually have a little group like Sophie and the Goats that are running around.
Oh yeah, all the Latin Vixen Goats.
The Latin Vixen. Actually, Sophie's heard because Sophie started it.
Sophie's heard.
Sophie started it. Ask her about it. She thinks it's funny. But it's whatever you plan. Somebody's ultimately going to come up with a design that's either very similar to yours. Now, don't do the tacky thing. See something somebody else has done to make an exact replica of it. Actually, that kind of stuff can get you sued. Like it or not, that's copyright infringement. Everything I've designed here, they are copyrighted to me for the artwork. The character concept is copyrighted to the owner. Should you see, Mr. Foxbutt here. All right, let's say my Hellcat. You really like that design. I've actually seen people try it. I've actually had people try it with me that liked some of my character designs or had something that was close enough that it was a derivative and took it to another maker. And I heard about it and very politely pointed out saying, you do this is copyright infringement and I can take you to a court of law and recoup my losses from it because this was my work, this is what I was paid to do. I did not get paid for you to come along and build this, and it's loss of business to me at that point. So your artist actually can sue. Most of them won't because it's too much trouble, but you really don't want that legal trouble hanging over your head. Don't do the copyright infringement thing. Same way with like the Disney characters. I know a lot of people absolutely adore a lot of the Disney characters, and you want to have a suit. Me personally, I wanted a Stitch suit. The happiest thing in the world would give me a Stitch suit.
I think someone has one.
Yeah, Santa Fox actually has one, and he built it himself, and that's all well and good. But that would make me the happiest person in the world, is having like the walk around Disney World Stitch suit.
We really don't want any Disney characters out there
You
being
do
misused.
not want Disney to hear about that. Disney does have the money to sue you, and it's chump change to them.
Yeah, and they will.
And they will.
And we don't want any
They're
more
the
using
best
them.
lawyers in the world.
We don't want.
Yeah.
And we don't want you to.
They have better
using
lawyers
them
than the
for,
government
inappropriate
does.
purposes
You will
either.
You will lose.
Parker.
You will lose. You'll be lucky to settle out of court with that. You don't actually want to get involved in that.
Yeah, there was a lawsuit for a guy who was just using their images on items, and Disney and Warner Brothers sued the living daylights out of him.
Yeah, and he will be in probably prison for a while until he can recoup those losses. I know they're fun to do. I will tell you, just as a cosplayer and having made copyrighted characters, the Japanese characters, the Japanese kind of don't care. They think it's flattery, and they encourage fan art. U.S. companies are not like that.
Licensing,
Yeah, and if you're going to do it, then you do it on your own dime, you do it on your own dollar, and you do it knowing the risk. Most makers will not take that commission from you.